Now, say this movie was inverted and a famous Chinese film star was hired to be in a British genre film in order to attract a Chinese audience to it. What would that movie be?
I'd like to think it was Zhang Ziyi.
Oh, yeah.
She's hired as the new kung fu teacher at a school in Bromley.
Oh, God. And is it the same? Is it like a nativity spin-off series? So Martin Freeman came back. He hasn't wanted anything to fucking do with it since the first one, but he's back in it now because he heard that they've got Chinese money behind it. So
yeah, finally some credibility.
And he's trying to put on a nativity, but with the fucking Zhang Ziyi here, and she is more interested in instilling the principles of martial arts.
Yeah, she's like, and she's very strict about it, but she doesn't even celebrate Christmas. What's going on?
Oh, God. But the whole thing is very celebratory of Britain and the school system.
Yeah, absolutely. It's sort of the antithesis of Another Brick in the Wall. Finally, a response to Another Brick in a Wall, Peter Bradshaw, Guardian, 5 stars.
Isn't it lovely being a brick in a wall, though? You're all cozy in there with all the other bricks, you're well supported, and you're part of a much mightier structure than you yourself could ever be. What's a brick on its own?
Yeah, well, exactly.
What are you going to do with that?
This was the point of Hero, and I like to think that Nativity 5 : Zhang Ziyi's Kung Fu School in Bromley is,
as it's known in China.
Yeah, is a spiritual
Over
sequel
here it's
to
called the Iron Blackboard. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year to Mum. Happy New Year, all of you. It's 2022 now.
Yeah, hello, fucking hell. Here we are. Here we all are.
Here we all are. It's been 5 whole days of it. That's 1.37% of the year. What have you done? Do something.
But what have you done in the next 3 days? Because it's been 2 days for us.
Shit, you've got time to spare. I mean, by the time this goes out, it'll have been 4.
Yeah.
But I would like Australia to be 3 days behind the rest of the world. I feel like that would... Or ahead? Ahead, yeah.
Try 3 decades, mate.
Shit, you got robots now. And it's very exciting. But I tell you, one thing you could do is listen to this brilliant, insightful, and often hilarious podcast.
I would say so. I'm completely thrown off by our new format. This is how we're going to introduce every single episode now. And I'm going to be on the back foot forever.
I'm poor Resolution.
I'm on the evil side.
What better way could there be to start off 2022 for these Pauls than to finally listen to Nell? We do it once a year.
And then we remember why we don't. It takes a whole year to forget.
Do you want to introduce the concept of Nell?
Sure, I think I've done it. I've done it a few times at this point.
Couple times.
She's the one who stops me from falling apart and looks after me more than our cat. And
just about.
Yeah, just about. And occasionally she lets me function as a human. And enjoy the usual freedoms that someone like that does.
And she's a being of matter now?
It flits between the two. It's very, very much an Orlando situation, but between states of being.
I love it when she's in her gaseous form. That's
yeah.
Because then she could be anywhere, and you can just think to yourself, "Oh, Nell might be around."
Yeah, it's very much a panopticon situation, or the opposite of that.
Or the opposite of that.
Yeah.
So Nell is kicking off recommendations month with the Iron Mask.
Yeah.
I owe you my life.
I'm going east. Come with me.
My village has changed. Something is very wrong.
She's an evil witch.
What in God's name is happening?
Also known as Iron Mask, also known as Journey to China, also known as V2 Journey to China, aka The Secret of the Dragon Seal in its original Russian, or The Mystery of the Dragon Card in its original Chinese. That's right, it's original Chinese and Russian. It's a co-production. Besties.
This is going to be great. We're going to learn a lot about a whole new bunch of production studios we previously knew nothing about.
About 12 of them.
Adds 10 minutes to the running time.
It's also got English-speaking cast members. Oh boy. Is this going to be Outcast meets Guardians? We can only hope.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
This is the sequel to 2014's V, or Vi, V,
View.
which was a cinema hit, according to Wikipedia.
It sure was.
Thanks, Wikipedia. Written by kindly Wikipedia writer, Joe Wikipedia.
You can bet.
Also from Wikipedia, the film is directed by a well-known Russian director.
Okay.
And reading much, much further down the page, you can find out that his name is Oleg Stepchenko, who was well known for directing The Forbidden Kingdom. Everybody loved that.
Oh my god. What, actually, Forbidden Kingdom?
Yeah.
Because V1 was Forbidden Empire, and that's not the same.
I'm pretty sure it's Forbidden Kingdom. I remember thinking, oh, that makes sense. But I will spend several moments of our lives looking this up.
I would if I were you.
Forbidden Kingdom, 2008. Directed by Rob Minkoff. Okay, I guess it's your thing.
Okay, well, it still checks out, because fucking hell, Forbidden Kingdom was disappointing.
It all checks out. And he's also going to direct V or Vi 3, Journey to India, which will be released next year.
Yeah, we've...
Oh, God!
Oh, help us all. We've been listening to your remonstrations, your chastisements, and we can only think that doing another one of these would help all of those. Chastisements? What are you talking about?
I wrote next year. It's not next year. It's this year. It's coming out this year.
Oh, yeah. Let's still say it's next year.
For the love of fans, they won't notice. This film was due to be released in 2018, but had to be delayed for a year while pending censorship approval in China. That's just written on Wikipedia like it's fine.
Yeah. Well, many people nowadays would tell you that is fine, Paul. Celebrities and politicians both. Jackie Chan definitely.
Oh, definitely.
And I just want to congratulate Jackie Chan on his ongoing application for joining the Chinese Communist Party.
Hooray! And also his proudness of his kid, name redacted. So critics reacted to the film like a weird Russian flying monkey thing. Ugh, that's around. Not very good.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Well, one of them was cheeky chap Robbie Collin of the Daily Telegraph, who said, I wouldn't say you have to have seen the first installment to enjoy it. In fact, an unfamiliarity with the general concept of cinema would probably help, if anything. Oh, you cheeky chap!
Oh, God, I love that Robbie Collin. He says what we're all thinking.
I love Robbie Collin, and I feel like he's what 2022 is going to need, more than anything.
Yeah, a flippant disdain for this without sort of coming outright against it. Is going to be ideal. It's the kind of nuance we need in 2022.
It's the only thing that we have left now. The great old public, meanwhile, were more than willing to die for this confusing cause. Felix Maduke, or Maduk.
Yep, definitely not a Russian bot.
Maduksky on Google Ski says, it was such a blast to see two theatric legends in the same movie collaborating to entertain. Yeah, theatric legends, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jackie Chan's.
I appreciated Schwarzenegger's rending to life of Othello on the stage, on the theatre stage.
It was incredibly powerful for him to have played every role.
Yeah. And when Jackie Chan played Willy Loman, he really brought out the death in The Death of the Salesman.
He really did. He brought an athleticism and martial ability that I just don't feel that other performers in that role have achieved.
But it's what Arthur Miller had intended the entire time.
The variously titled movie has received 34% on Metacritic, 22% on Rotten Tomatoes, and doesn't seem to have made all that much money. So, Paul, you English man.
Gosh!
What's one thing about the Iron Mask, or all the others, that reminded you of Genghis Khan's mighty helmet? I forgot to do the three-man, so I will quietly do that as...
Okay, cool. I would imagine someone's going to be a three-man at this stage, but...
I imagine at the very least everyone.
Jason Flemyng? Maybe.
So
when the film started, Paul, there was some good music, and I went, ooh. Is this the opening score? This is good. And it was one of the Russian production companies.
Oh, yes. Is that the one with the weird 70s doll that slowly rotates?
Potentially.
In contrast to all of the CGI-heavy Chinese companies.
Yes, that would be...
I enjoyed that.
That would be the one.
I enjoy the fact that this is coming from Tarkovsky's Russia.
As much as it's coming from Loach's Britain, mate. So this bodes well, and then I'd forgotten completely what the music sounded like after 78 more production company logos in their introductions. Nothing spells quality like that.
It's time to start building up the mythos of this universe, and if you don't mind, I'll have a crack at the overall story that we're dealing with today.
Please do. I was making tea while this was on.
Okay, yes, okay. So here is the mythology we're dealing with, the fable at the heart of it. So there's a dragon whose eyelashes make amazing tea, and as a group of white wizards tend to those eyelashes, so the dragon gives them, and specifically the master of the wizards, a seal to control him for some reason. But some of the wizards get greedy and turn to a two-faced witch. She encourages them to stop trimming the dragon's eyebrows so that they can make more tea somehow.
Soon the great dragon found men to take care of his eyelashes and preserve the healing properties of tea.
The dragon falls asleep because his eyes are heavy. The white wizards fight the black wizards in mortal combat, but the black wizards imprison the master and the princess on opposite sides of the world, and also the master is Jackie Chan.
That was verbatim, yeah. And the master is Jackie Chan, and everyone goes, "Oh yes, nice."
And it was like, I'm not entirely sure about this bit, but then it had an improvisational quality to the narration. I enjoyed that.
It was great, and Jackie Chan. That's exciting. I'm excited. I'm as excited about his performance in this as I am about his views on democracy. And so the tea was a result of the eyebrows. They grow long, and the people harvested them and made tea.
Yes.
So that's how they could get more tea. So it's all very, very well thought out.
Rather than cutting it off as it grows, they'll just have... Well, I guess they just stopped making tea for a long time, and then they had lots of tea to make all at once.
And then they had lots of tea from lovely old manky old tea leaf roots, and that hadn't been tended to in a year. And so this is all good.
From there, we cut to, honestly, 3 years later. I kind of got the impression this was mythic ancient past, but that was Jackie Chan and his daughter as the princess in the story, not their ancestors. So this was the summer before last.
The next day, tomorrow. I think there is the line. There's a line that implies Jackie Chan's been in there for about 10 years. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been waiting a long time to have a fight with him.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for that as well. I'm looking forward to that.
It's only going to be good, Paul.
We cut to a Tower of London, but I don't think it's the Tower of London because there's some reference to it being called something like Grey Tower Watch or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, no one knows, Paul, and that's the key. There are American guards in this Tower of London in medieval England, and before the country was even a thing.
American, and also just the English teachers from near the production company, but also Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was teaching English in Chengdu there for a semester.
Remember, a healthy body houses a healthy mind. Mens sana in corpore sano. Exercise!
The master and his is locked up away from all the other people, along with his cellmates, Richard Brake and the man in the iron mask. And they catch a homing pigeon.
They catch a homing pigeon.
Which has a message on it in a very, very secret code.
Oh my god, I would be scratching my head at this for decades to come, if not for. The only man in the world who's ever learned to read backwards with the assistance of a mirror, because fuck me, it would be impossible otherwise.
It would be impossible to read this backwards. You have to use a mirror or a pool of tears to translate this fucking thing. Well, it's pretty great, but from this they learn that Jason Flemyng was boinking Charles Dance's daughter.
Yeah, wouldn't advise that.
Yeah, which Charles Dance, he wasn't happy about that.
Ray Winston and Charles Dance are the two people's daughters you really want to steer clear of.
You gotta get the hell away from there. Unrelatedly, the rest of the movie. Flemyng is commissioned to measure the edges. Every scene happens in spite of this fact. In flagrant disregard. At the beginning, even, Charles Dance comes in and opens his mouth to say something, and then everyone interrupts, and he leaves unhappily.
You can still hear him muttering under the ADR.
Yeah.
I crossed the whole of Europe, and after passing over the mountains of gloomy Transylvania, I reached the wild forests of Little Russia. There, I encountered phenomena that cannot be explained by science.
He is being hired to measure the edges of Western Russia.
Yes.
But he has found that there is a bunch of monsters in Russia, in what I assume is the first film.
Yes.
And when he gets to Moscow, they all laugh at his map and how shit it is.
Shitty wank map, they say.
They say, and then they point at him and laugh. And now he's imprisoned.
Oh, for being such a bellend.
For being such a twatty English awful man. I'd imprison him.
Yeah, I definitely would, but unfortunately the English have had the idea of imprisoning Jackie Chan, Russian man in the mask, and definitely Richard Brake. And look, it sounds like you've got a very good hold on the chronology of this movie, Paul. And I was going to start moving on with my own version of the plot, but I don't want to, take any of your juice from you.
I wish I wasn't doing Threeman right now. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for free.
Okay, great.
I'm going to put that down so that we can pick it up later.
That's fine. Charlesdance's is looks like somebody I recognise, but isn't.
Isn't
and
at all.
She wants to find Jason Flemyng.
Yeah.
She really wants to make sure that he's safe. But for the love of God, if he so much as looks at another woman, she's going to cut his balls off over the next 15 years.
Yeah, fuck him with that. Meanwhile, in Russia, Rutger Hauer shows up to commission Flemyng. Not to speak any lines himself, of course. That would be massively beneath Rutger Hauer. But he shows up to commission Flemyng to map the eastern borders this time. Fuck's sake.
Yeah. And what we see of Rutger Hauer is just being surrounded by women and looking very pleased with himself for 3 seconds, and that's it.
I'd take that role. This might be his last role.
Oh, God. I mean, it's a good paycheck, I guess.
It's a good paycheck. So, yeah, he leaves with a very obvious Chinese woman who everybody thinks is a boy because it's the past and it's easy to mistake women who do anything, really, with young boys, regardless of how incredibly obviously not a young boy they are.
Yeah. If it worked for Shakespeare in Love. Fucking got them an Oscar, so...
It's definitely good enough for us. Flemyng is able to send another pigeon, which prompts Little Miss Charles Dance into action.
Finally, we all say.
She goes to the prison, and coincidence, it's the day when Arnold Schwarzenegger offers everybody a bit of a Baney trial.
Yeah.
It's the only way out of here. Anyone who can get to the top is free. Who is next?
They have to fight him.
Yeah.
And win, or kind of win, or know someone who wins.
He runs a tight ship, and I respect the shit out of that. So yes, one Chinese guy is able to do it, and therefore all 3 of him are allowed to go. They were looking for Jackie Chan, very much like the audience.
Yeah. Very much like the audience will continue to do. So they go, and then the woman turns up, and
Madam Charles Dance.
Madam Charlesdancedaughter, and she asks about the one about a Russian spy, who might be able to help her do something, and he goes, "Hey, we've got a Russian prisoner. Go and speak to him. This is fine."
Yeah, fuck it.
And and she does.
She runs a tight ship,
and just so much happens, Paul. So much happens.
Oh Jesus Christ! Well, the main thing of this is that she finds out that first of all, this fucking guy, Man in the Iron Mask, is actually the real Prince of Russia.
Oh my God.
Oh shit! And also that Flemyng is traveling with Jackie Chan's daughter. Yeah. Daughter? Uh-oh. Yeah. Jason Flemyng has definitely tapped that already.
That man will fuck anything. And so that I do not trust him at all. One of us is a terrible person. I can't tell which at this stage.
Well, one of you is Jason Flemyng, so it muddies the waters somewhat.
Yeah. He does have the same X-Men powers. He can apparate at will. And he uses it in the way that Kevin Bacon's Hollow Man guy would if given those powers.
Yeah.
It's really upsetting.
It really is. They all escape the prison. The Russian prince escapes with Lady Charles Dance in a Pirates of the Caribbean-esque bit of business. And Arnie and Chan have a bit of a fight.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah. They punch themselves out of the movie.
Yes! It looks like Chan might escape too and join them for the rest of... No.
And he escapes and he finds the field at the end of Old Boy and just runs away into the distance. And so that's that. Thank God. Now we can focus on the main story, which is, oh my God! And you just turn around and it's just everything's on fire.
Well, the prince in the Iron Mask needs to return the dragon seal to China. Oh yeah, the dragon seal from the first bit of exposition.
Yeah, remember that? So he gets on a boat.
That. Yes, he smuggles himself aboard a ship.
Yeah.
And Baroness Charles Dance does the same whilst disguised as a man.
Yeah.
God, gender was really interesting back in the past because basically if you wore trousers and could speak, you were probably a man.
Yeah, it's very fluid and very tolerant, but at the same time the complete opposite of those things.
It's the opposite. Because women were so restrained that any woman who even raised her eyebrow in a certain way, it's a man in disguise.
Get him, lads.
Can't fool me. And then lads would appear from everywhere.
Bunch of hooligans. So, yeah, oh God, then they get to China, Paul, and I tell you, about an hour of scenes have happened at this stage. So many things have happened.
Jesus Christ.
And they're in China now.
I've decided to interrupt the plot at times whenever I find a three-man. Because rather than try and note it all down. So I'll tell you this, Arnold Schwarzenegger's a foreman because of Hercules in New York Jr. and Batman and Robin, so congratulations him.
Okay, fantastic. This is much deserved based on the merit of this film. As a heads up, Paul, I didn't like this film. So,
free to a man, free in the bush, free, yo. Films are shit, mate.
At this stage, I realise that the Russian prince is being dubbed by a man who does sound like Norm Macdonald.
Kneel before your Tsar. And you, call the captain. Where? I don't see him.
With Hitler, the more I learn about that guy, the more I don't care for him.
that's true. He is. But everyone is being dubbed, no matter what language it was originally recorded in, for what audience it was originally recorded in.
If that's not Arnie doing Arnie, then it's someone who's very good at Arnie.
It's they actually got the guy who replaced him in Hercules in New York, but they had him.
He's been working on an Arnie impression. He took it so badly when people preferred Arnie's voice that he's actually spent the last 60 years transforming his voice into an perfect Arnold Schwarzenegger impression that he can't stop doing now.
And you know the crazy thing, like he looks like Eddie Marsan. He's nothing like Arnold Schwarzenegger whatsoever. It's a very surprising voice, and it's his real voice now. Actual Eddie Marsan. That's his real voice. And they get to China, and
aboard a ship being piloted by a guy called Martin Kleber. He is the captain of this ship, and he's a three-man because of movie 43 and Van Helsing.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Free to a man.
Fantastic. So they get to yes, as you say,
Fucking
they get to
Helsing.
China.
But there's an evil two-way witch Paul. She's posing as fucking the princess, I think.
Yes.
The only thing that gives her away is the fact that she speaks very, very evilly all the time.
Gather the people immediately and make everyone see that the dragon obeys me.
Yes, that's a very unfortunate side effect of her magic. Yes, they come across a village being raided by guards.
Oh yeah, and electric men.
Yes, so the visibly female boy is actually the true princess of this land, and she unfurls her almost sarcastically long hair in order to sneak off to try and save her people from bad guys. Oh yeah, that evil witch from an hour ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Flemyng is immediately captured, and Witch Lady shows off that she's got a terrifying electric-type dragon.
Yeah.
It's a shiny.
Yeah, it's a shiny. And like all shiny things, don't look at it. Not for too long anyway.
Not for too long, it'll dazzle you.
Yeah.
So Prince Norm Macdonald shows up with his pirates, and they talk their way about town, flash the dragon seal a bit, and it works because they encounter Princess Could Be a Boy.
Yeah. And everyone's very confused for a second because they think, are you sure this is not a boy? She turned around for a second and we couldn't see all of her long hair.
Hang on, are any of you boys?
You've got to tell us.
Not even the young boys and families put their hands up. You also Chinese women.
Wow. Because what I'm seeing and what you previously told me, you told me your English name is Jimmy, and now you turn around and I'm like, who's that? Do you mean Jemima? God, this is confusing. I hate this country. I hate this reality. I'm going to go and live my own truth on the internet.
Yes, that is incidentally the last of the three men, I'm very pleased to say. Although Jason Flemyng is a two-man, and I'm wondering if you remember why.
Is he in Doolittle?
Even if they find a cure for deja vu, not me.
Fuck.
Even if they find a cure for deja vu, not me.
No, that's not...
Spice World. He was awful Barry Humphrey's assistant in Spice World.
Oh, wow. God.
He's getting up the ladder.
Yeah, he's trying his best. He's trying his darn tootinest. And okay, so the Two-Faced Witch has an evil plan to get the dragon seal and become the most powerful. And here's a twist, Paul. Here's a twist that you're not going to like. The audience at home, I'm going to prepare you for this. The three brothers who broke out of who were allowed out of prison on a technicality. One of them only went and swore his bloody life away to the evil witch, thinking she was the princess.
Oh shit! I can't wait to see how that exciting subplot is revealed.
He can't get out of that for some reason.
No. And incidentally, this needs to happen because Flemyng at one point easily sneaks away and finds her laboratory. She's not magic. It's just science. She's a fraud. She's just learned to harness electricity, create impenetrable armor, and disguise herself flawlessly as any human being on Earth. Yeah. A worthless fraud.
A phony, I say. A charlatan. And
absolute charlatan.
And he goes out to tell the audience of this film, and you can tell how well that's going to go down. It's arrogant. It's pretentious in 2022, Paul. That Paul Goodman, he's gone wrong.
It all goes south. Flemyng and Viscountess Charlesdance are going to be sacrificed to the dragon.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not the real dragon, incidentally. It's a crazy clockwork one that fraud made. It's like the Wizard of Oz.
Fucking
one that
idiot.
can perfectly murder huge numbers of people.
Yeah, but it's fine because it's not magic. And so the good guys, the goodies, they hatch a wonderful plan.
Folk.
Yeah, pirates of the village folk. They abseil in, and they hit each other with sticks and all that shit for a bit.
Well, some of them infiltrate the cave using barrels and disarm the dragon, freeing Flemyng and Archduchess Charlesdance to escape. The brave people of China attack the fortress, and Prince Norm MacDonald is actually immune to the poison they poisoned him with, and was just pretending to be drugged for most of the battle.
I guess. Don't think about it too much.
Most of the heroics are actually done by that three-man I mentioned, the captain of the ship. He does a lot more than you'd expect him to do. He had a very a difficult contract to appear in this film. He had to be an absolute hero. Oh, God.
Someone's got to
be. You couldn't pay Arnold Schwarzenegger enough to do so. Evil Witch uses the dragon seal to wake up the real dragon this time. She can once again use the dragon's eyelashes to make expensive tea. Christ, I forgot what the stakes of all this had been.
Yeah, she was going to rule the whole world, and there'd probably be surprising amount of social freedom, but a lot of civil liberties encroached upon, which is a good thing, says Jackie Chan.
The fight goes on for fucking ages, and eventually, eerily predicting, incidentally, the ending to Shang-Chi, but eventually Flemyng gets stabbed, and the witch is exposed, and gets thrown into the ocean.
Yeah.
It takes ages.
It takes so long, Paul, but Jason Flemyng's fine.
Oh, Jesus. He's fine.
Because he got stabbed in the watch. Yeah, he got stabbed in his pocket watch. But he did pretend to die, just for a laugh.
He did pretend to die, because he's a fucking nightmare, this guy. You don't want to know what he's like when he's not being attacked by terrifying monsters. We cut from his possible death scene to Charles Dance dicking around in a park.
Yeah, and having some lines that actually sound like Charles Dance. It could be Eddie Marsan again. Or the guy...
God, he's amazing.
Or Hercules in New York, man, they changed his name to that so everybody would know.
He receives a pigeon that says, "Dear Dad, please make Arnold Schwarzenegger free Jackie Chan," in a confusing sequence that sets up a sequel where Arnie is going to learn martial arts. Fuck you, movie.
Yeah, and that's that. And I never have to think of it again.
True. Hey, is an imposter still ruling Russia? The end.
That's fine, don't worry about it. Russia's got it under control.
They always do. So that was the Iron Mask and all the other things it's called. What did you make of it?
I would like to make an argument, Paul, for this being in our bottom 10.
I don't know about that. It was very boring.
It is very boring. It is not as lazy as a lot of the movies in our bottom 10, but it is put together in such a slapdash, careless fashion that it was just insulting to me. Constantly.
It was very annoyingly made. It was moving at breakneck speed. It was pouring exposition down your throat.
Yeah.
It had way too much going on in a way that felt like you were watching a wrestle of negotiation, a wrestle of contracts rather than any sort of characters.
It wasn't so much that the plot wasn't so much and then. It was too crazy for something as simple as and then.
Yeah.
It was just scenes. It was like Grown Ups 2, but with like the meant trying to tie itself to an action plot. It was so frenetic and sporadic. It was so little care to how everything tied together.
Yeah.
The dubbing is a distracting mess. The CGI is an eyesore.
Yes, the CGI is bad. For the dubbing, I would say thank God for it, because I needed that unintentional comedy to keep me through. That was the one thing, is I needed it more of that. There's a lot of unintentional comedy I'm going to be coming to in my quick firing, and I needed it to be more ridiculous, because I did see reviewers call this so bad it's good, and it's not. It's not consistent enough. It's too dull for too long for it to be considered as a Guardian-style so bad it's good movie. I
do not. This did not catch me right at all. Every time there was a poor bit of, like a crazy bit of dubbing, it made me go, what? And then just made me more annoyed. This really did not work well for me. I am going to have a lot fewer quick fires than you, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh,
No,
it's
don't get
certainly-
me wrong, Paul. This is one of the worst films I've ever goddamn seen in my life. I would
That's
probably
insane to
put
me.
this above Grown Ups 2.
That's ridiculous to me.
I genuinely despise this movie. It is the mark of everything that is wrong with kid adventure, broad appeal movies.
Oh god, for me it just feels very misguided, and it's lazy in as much as they didn't figure out a way to meet the styles that they were going for. And it just feels like it's very first draft, but not even first draft. It felt like different sections of people were working on this script, and then it got stitched together later on when they just shuffled up the papers. But it doesn't anger me. It wasn't angering me as I watched it. It was just very unimpressive for me. It wasn't actively pissing me off.
Yeah, right. Man, this when I lived in China, I watched quite a lot of TV that felt like this, and it has that feeling of everybody just looking like they're playing fancy dress,
yes,
rather
definitely.
than anyone playing roles. And
nobody felt like they lived in their clothing.
No, there's a cheapness to it, and just all of these things together. Well, like when in the first 5-10 minutes of the movie, I thought, oh, is this going to be a really disorienting Things-like experience where I'm laughing and trying to make sense of it, and that in itself is rewarding because of just how stupefying the experience is. But actually, it just kept pushing me away. And whereas with Things, I would be pushed away and struggling to pay attention, but then finding the energy and getting something out of it. With this, I got pushed away to the point where I just went, no, I can't. I actually can't keep doing this. So I was so bored throughout the entire thing, and it's 2 hours long. Yeah. And it just, I think doing the first time check and realizing there was an hour and 20 minutes to go.
Oh my god.
And like having gotten nothing out of it at this point.
Yeah.
You know, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 quick fires.
Oh god.
Which is the least I've had in about a year, I
22.
think.
So this will be an interesting sort of collection. But
I hated this. I really did.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm trying to think of something that would be hateable, like, for me about this. It just felt very... The thing about Grown Ups 2, to make that comparison, is it maybe its branding as a comedy made it feel even more lazy, because you don't even need to fucking build a set for Grown Ups 2. You just need to wander around a small American town doing whatever the fuck everybody wants to do. Like, there was nothing that needs doing. This had sets built, it had ill-fitting costumes shoved onto extras, and it had a couple of moments there of grandeur or, you know, fantasy. I've got a couple of moments that are like establishing shots or sets. Not really any fights, because there was very little action in this that looked good.
There were some good moves within each fight scene, I think.
Yes,
there was
some good moves.
like the odd good move,
Yeah, but it was edited like a Western movie, very distressingly. Yeah, which is very troubling. And I had just enough charm off of some of the characters, not in terms of what they're deliberately trying to do, but kind of inadvertently. Like, I found Schwarzenegger to be fairly charming in this. Not as a character.
Really?
Yeah, not as a character by any means, but it just amused me to think of Arnie doing this. Showing up on set, being given his costume, being told what his character is, and saying the lines he had to say. That amused me. Ditto for Jason Flemyng, who seems to... I don't know, I think he gauged this material correctly, because he's not bringing... I don't know, I don't want to say he's not bringing his A-game. He's not, but it's not the project you bring your A-game to. He's matched the energy of it, of sort of, what, zoinks, kind of eye movement. He's identified that correctly.
That is true. I did spend a lot of time wondering why all these people said yes to it. It's just a paycheck, like, just need the money.
I'm sure. They had to imagine very few people outside of China are going to see this.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I hadn't fucking heard of it until Nell recommended it to us.
Yeah. It just feels so cynical, despite the fact that, like, there is more effort gone into this than Grown Ups 2.
Yeah.
To me, it just spoke of such a lack of respect for the audience. Such a plain... It almost felt elitist. It was so disdainful towards the audience. This is the kind of shit you lot like. We'll just throw anything we want together. Here are some big names. Go on, you fucking plebs.
Now that's interesting.
And it's really got me riled up, Paul.
For me, it felt like the opposite end. It felt like, is it this? Is this a fantasy movie? Is this like Lord of the Rings? We don't know. Is this it? It felt like just kind of...
Yeah.
I don't want to say charming again because it is too cynical to be charming, really. They were trying to get your money off of you by making something they didn't know how to make, and they very obviously and crucially did not know how to make. But it didn't necessarily feel like they were speaking down. It didn't necessarily feel like it was pandering, because if it was pandering, I can't help but feel they'd have included more good stuff in it. It just felt like, okay, this is the scene where we're going to build up drama. And they didn't fucking know how to do that, so it's a nothing boring, nothing scene.
Pandering from I'm thinking like the people who like wanted this entire thing to happen, the people involved in making it as much a porn as we are.
Right.
There's just something there which really felt odious to me.
Wow. Interesting.
God.
Let's see how that feeling evolves throughout the year and some of the things I've got in store for you.
Fuck you, friend.
For now, let's talk about these quickfires. Quickfire. I quite liked the mythic feel of the intro. The idea of, trimming a dragon's eyebrows in order to make tea was nonsense later on once it's turned into a giant sort of sword and shield style action movie over the eyelashes of a dragon. But in this beginning stage, it felt nice and fairy tale-ish. Okay. And I quite like the effect of the tableau vivant that was expressing it as well. That was similar to the, that when they told the backstory of Wonder Woman and the island and all the like clay figures come to life. That was quite good.
Oh, yeah,
and as my other one, I'll have Arnie's mustache.
Wow, I thought that was so distracting. Why is he wearing his mustache? I guess why not?
What's something out of me? What was it distracting you from? The dialogue? I'm trying to pay attention.
Just from me appreciating Arnold Schwarzenegger's wonderful face. Like every mustache does. Specifically from appreciating Arnold Schwarzenegger. And nobody has understood me till now.
But now they will. God damn it.
It was a big chunky mustache, wasn't it?
It was. The gentleman's mustache.
Okay, I've already actually given my first good thing, which was the Russian production company music.
Oh, yeah.
But sample it here.
Okay, you know what? I'll have two of Arnold Schwarzenegger's lines.
Okay.
And I think it's the same word both times that got me. The first time I think it's just him, how happy he seems to be with himself when he comes in. And I can't remember the exact phrasing, but he just says something like,
"All in attendance. Of course you are. Where would you go? It's the tower!"
And he just laughs at them. And it's a ridiculous line, but Arnie trying to put his all into it and trying to be genuinely amused by this was very entertaining for me.
Fair enough.
And then later on, he says the line, every so often, a word just comes out of Arnie that inadvertently echoes around his big barrel-chested nature. And in this particular word, it is the word tower, because he says,
"You have an influential father, Miss Dudley. Otherwise, I would never let a woman come to this tower."
Yeah, something. The script writers go, "Oh, we've heard him say tower now."
We've tried to avoid all big vowel sounds, but he just puts them in.
That was initially the word tour, and he pretended it was the word tower so he could just say it.
We had to re-edit the whole movie around him.
All right, well, in the spirit of Arnie, there's like a chest punch from him. He's fighting the Chinese men, I think, and he hits somebody with the palm of his fist.
Oh yeah,
and it's a club. He clubs somebody, one of these guys, in the chest, and it's just such a fucking beefy punch. It should have shattered his ribs.
Should have shat in that man.
He killed his children just through the power of that chest punch.
Oh god. When they get the note, the guy says, "This is a personal note. Should we be reading this?" And Chan reacts by going, but then leaning in really attentively to hear the rest of it, which quite entertained me. Oh, fuck. Do you know what? I'm going to get a bunch of these out of the way at the same time. A bunch of Jason Flemyng business. Okay. I really enjoyed. When he's first accosted in the woman's bed.
Oh, yeah.
By Charles Dance.
Oh, yeah.
And he says,
"Debauching yourself in your father's house and with a common teacher."
"I'm not just a teacher. I'm a bachelor of geography and cartography."
Whilst throwing his wig on
and
trying to look really indignant.
Oh.
And then...
It sounds so much better when you say it.
It was wonderful. I watched it twice. And then later on, when he's being made fun of at the Russian thing...
Yeah.
He's just rather lamely calling out, "Careful, my map!"
"Careful, my map!"
And then finally at that
my nerd things.
no. And then finally someone throws what looks like water in his eyes, and he's just going, my eyes! But also the guy just clubbed him in the stomach, which meant him lead forward and go, huh? And then he got it in the eyes.
Oh,
which was,
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That was very good.
God. I would say it was just about fun watching Jackie Chan fighting. Most, not through any fault of his own, but because the film did everything it could to stop us from enjoying it.
I don't know. I don't know when Jackie Chan's last decent fight was. I think maybe he has to edit like this now to cover up his old mannishness and his lack of youthful spirit.
I wonder, but he still moves quickly when... quickly enough that I'd still go... Because you'd watch him and go, fucking hell, he's, late 60s now, and look, he's still moving. That's incredible. It doesn't have to be doing...
Tai Chi every day. State-sponsored Tai Chi.
Yeah. He gets out and denounces another friend. And fucking hell, this is dark. But there are still moments, like when Arnie goes to punch him, he grabs Arnie's fist and he has such a cheeky boy look on his face. It was lovely. It was just so nice because it was very playful, and it was just, ooh, I'm going to cause you a mischief. Just like original Jackie Chan.
Oh, yeah. I'm Mr. Flemyng.
Oh, God.
This shall also be my final letter to you, as I only have a single pigeon left.
I only speak English. So
yeah, that's exactly what it made me think of. Yeah. Someone says to him, listen here, don't even think of running off to Europe. Yeah, I enjoyed.
They'd say that because they know it's so easy to do.
Technically in Europe now, I think.
Depends on the day. So in that first fight scene, I've written down first fight scene. That might be Arnie.
I think it's Arnie fighting the guys in the prison. Yeah.
Yeah. There are some good moves in that. You can't. I did think for a while, is this going to be a movie with a lot of kung fu in it? Because the acting is bad enough that I would definitely believe it if then everybody was just amazing at kung fu. And it wasn't, but there were still some decent. There were still obviously some very talented people. Involved. I think I'm actually talking about the scene when definitely not a girl, Chinese boyman.
Yes,
is
fighting
off those boys. Yeah.
Yes, agreed. She did some good moves, but there was poor editing around it.
Yes, that's every fight scene from this movie, I think.
Maybe much like Jessica Hennick in the new film.
Oh.
Yay. Anyway, very poorly acted this, but the bit where it's very dumb. You're going to be very angry at this, I think. When Jackie Chan and Arnie are fighting in his room, and one of the bits of shtick about Arnie is that he collects antiques that are obviously not what he says they are.
Yeah. And
Jackie Chan keeps going to grab a weapon to fight him with because Arnie has a sword, and every time he picks up something, he's like,
"No! This is the spear of Alexander the Great. No, don't touch that one. No, this is the sword of the Turkish Sultan. No! So, what should I do? Good, that's fair.
It's just imagining Arnie and Jackie maybe rehearsing this and planning out what to say.
Yeah.
It sounds semi-improvised by Arnie as well.
Yes. I was quasi-tickled by that. Mr. Burns over the trapdoor button, the finger was poised over the good thing list. And it just didn't quite get there for me, but I can see why. But from that moment, he goes, "No, don't touch that. That is the helmet of Genghis Khan." And then Jackie Chan goes, "Helmet?" And then it's helmet thunk as he puts it on his head, and it just shows that it's obviously not a helmet.
Yeah,
and that was really good comedic timing.
Yeah, that was great. Well, he's very funny as well as being an asshole.
You can, and in fact, usually it's both.
Yeah, it is often both.
Mate.
Yay! One of the good establishing shots was Jason Flemyng and his cart going over a frozen sea. It looked like it was really vast. He calls it a lake, I think, but it just goes on forever, and it's not a CG effect. It's quite beautiful.
Cool. Oleg Stepchenko was so fucking jaded. That was the only thing that truly broke his heart. Everything else he went, just fuck it. Let's just CGI it. London shit.
Yeah.
Charles Dance CGI him. We'll just use Peter Cushing's template. Cool. Okay, so in the village fight scene with the electric men, there are a couple of, again, some really good looking moves or moments, but a couple of things that I thought were notable. An extra gets thrown through a crate, and that looked good. And one of the acrobatic ladies I wasn't paying attention to which one this was. Slides out of a window, like along a canopy, and then does a kind of forward roll off of it, like holding onto it, and that looked really good. And they only cut like once in the middle of it to show that it wasn't a fluid moment, but the two separate moments were still great.
Great. Well, I thought the large men looked great. They had these giant sort of dudes who I guess were meant to be sort of black wizards, but actually turned out to have been robots created, or automatons. No, just body suits that the witch had created. And I thought they looked really good. They looked practical. I don't think they were CG. And it was just these big Guillermo del Toro style bigatures, big rigs walking around this place, smashing through things. And they were very interesting designs. One of them was an electric man. One of them made a tremendous amount of noise, I think. And then there was a...
I thought you were going to say made a tremendous amount of money on the stock market.
A tremendous amount of money. He was just great. He was just there waving at everyone, looking happy. Yeah, they all did different things. They all had different designs. And yeah, it looked quite Star Warsy. And I appreciated that.
Yeah, cool. You mentioning Guillermo del Toro reminded me that I saw a trailer for his new film.
His new film, Midnight something, Ali?
Yeah, it looked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Look forward to that, coming soon.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
My last one, actually, is the witch's boudoir, where she drinks with the Tsar and gives him poison, was the most the impressive set for me.
Okay.
It was very colourful, and it seemed like it had been very carefully arranged. It wasn't just a complete nonsense mayhem scene. It like care had been given to the mood and the feng shui of the piece, and that was it's good. It's loads of like in groups of candles dotted around the room, and then a very saucy sort of velvety looking bed and bed curtains.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It did look good. All right, let me finish off then.
Go on.
After she reconnects with her sort of friend in the village, she's taken aback because basically the princess has been pretending. The witch is pretending to be the princess, and so everybody thinks the princess is evil. So she almost gets killed when she returns, and then she gets led to a ledge by her old friend, who points at the witch and says, "Look, isn't that you?"
Yes.
That's got to be a bad dub line. Yes. Oh, it is.
Shit, what am I doing here then?
She fades out of existence. Okay, Norm Macdonald has a great line when he's brought in, and he talks about how he knew the master, as his cellmate, and he just has the line,
"And I learn a lot from him."
And he just delivers it in the most amazing, over-the-top way that you can imagine. It was. Speaking of great dub lines, there's a bit where the witch is trying to hide that half of her face has melted. And so she's not looking directly at the guy, but he says that they found the dragon seal, and she has to say,
"You found it? So give it to me."
With a big gesture outwards, but she's trying to keep half of her face away, so it was half Rita Repulsa, but incredibly awkward.
Yeah, that was very good. She obviously thought it was very smooth.
Yeah, and I think, I bet the actor playing the witch had fun. Oh, I think it would have been Helen Yao, I think, because she plays the princess, and most of the time the witch is in her guise. And I think that Helen Yao probably had quite a bit of fun playing evil princess.
True.
And it's fun that she got to do a dual role and play a boy for part of the film.
Yeah.
Okay, when Charles Dance Jr. is practicing being a badass for the upcoming fight, and I can't actually think of one goddamn thing she does. Oh, she's on a bridge that falls, okay. But she's practicing with like a gun, looking threatening. And her lines that she practices are,
"You bastard, or I'll kill you."
Yeah.
Very interesting. Last one, in the final battle sequence when the villagers and the guards are fighting, there are actually quite a few good shots there. There are quite good shots of a whole courtyard full of people fighting, sort of charging each other and, getting knocked off. And there were quite a few moments where that looked good. But I was at that point very weary.
Yeah. I feel very tired, film. Can I have a rest?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Oh, God. It takes the finale really was the worst part for me. It went on for so long and was so uninvolving.
Oh.
The moment where it became, I thought they had cornered the evil queen and that this was the end of her, and then the dragon comes out. I was like, no.
Yeah.
I did get Shang-Chi.
You got Shang-Chi.
You got Shang-Chi. He comes out and says, and I was like, oh.
That's right. It's me, Eddie Murphy. Wait, Eddie Murphy, what are you doing here? Well, I played a dragon in Mulan, and I thought you'd appreciate the reference. I don't appreciate anything you do anymore, Eddie Murphy. Dolomite was great, I grant you, but get out of it. And they chase him, and that's the end of the
Disney
movie.
said, okay, we're going to have to find someone else who's played a dragon in order to put this in. Can't you just be a dragon? No. Who are you? Who are you? And then someone got beaten to death.
And then Benedict Cumberbatch is there.
Not even the guy who said that. Anywho, that's just about all I have to say or think about The Iron Mask, or Journey to China, or any of the other things that it might have been. I tell you what, though, I can't help but wonder, did the OG team think anything about this film? OG team.
Thought that was the Lord of the Rings for a second there. The OG team.
It's some sort of Chinese folk song that appears in Once Upon a Time in China, but also half a dozen other martial arts movies.
Yeah, right.
Da, 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 da. Hello, OG team. The song is called On the General's Orders and was featured in the intro for Drunken Master and was renamed A Man Should Better Know Himself when it served as the theme music for Once Upon a Time in China, the franchise. Interestingly, Jackie Chan sang the lyrics in Mandarin for the second movie, but what you heard was the Cantonese version because we support Hong Kong, Jackie. Liberate Hong Kong, the revolution of our time.
There were some very good songs in there, Paul. I got the English subtitles for them, and
yes,
they were
me too.
all about how great China is when everybody follows the rules.
I love it. Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
No, stop thinking this is a great song, everyone. Stop.
Too late. Shouldn't have made it so catchy.
Do you know what, Paul? I don't think anyone we know has seen this movie. I know Jem Newlin asked about it, and he watched the trailer, and he said, it looks like a mess. And I said, well, you still watch it, and he didn't.
Yay.
So, yeah. So that's that. He was very enticed by me calling this film a disgrace, and that's as far as it went. And honestly,
as far as it ought to go.
I don't blame Jem.
I can't. I literally can't. It's beyond my capabilities.
Court order.
All right, then. Well, let's think about the one better thing. The one better thing. All right, well, look, this is the first time we've had a regular episode in a couple of weeks, and I forgot this bit. So, whilst I think desperately about that, why don't you fucking do it yourself, you prick?
All right, sounds good, mate. So, after this fucking thing ended, we watched Hand of God, and that was really, really good, so you should just watch that.
Okay.
Fun for all the family, definitely. As far as a one better thing goes, I mean, Pirates of the Caribbean is probably the best example of this kind of wacky, fun adventure movie.
Yeah, the first one, yeah.
Yeah, the first one. Oh, God, yeah, the first one.
Yeah.
And just, again, like, if I look, this is not really my wheelhouse, so that and Hand of God.
Okay. Well, immediately after watching this movie, we watched The Mitchells versus the Machines, which I was due to watch for about a year.
Yeah, okay.
And I ended up really, really liking it. I thought it was very good. And that was Lord and Miller, speaking of. So, yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah, let's go with that.
Sounds good.
There's no... there must be a recent Chinese fantasy movie that I really liked, and it's not coming to me right now. I haven't really been on the scene, the whole wuxia scene, since the early noughties.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is unfortunate. Oh! That Zhang Yimou film from a couple of years ago. What was it called? Shadow?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It was good. I saw it at London Film Festival. It was... it's just called Shadow. That was good. Watch Shadow. It's
cool.
A very interesting, slightly darker version of the wuxia films that made him big.
Great.
I wish I'd seen The Great Wall and could describe whether or not that was better than this, because that's much closer to what this sort of thing is.
Watch Dragon Blade, or whatever it's called.
I'll tell you what, I recently rewatched The Grand Master, the Wong Kar-wai film from 2013, and I remember being a bit disappointed from that when I was a dumb sort of 20 whatever watching that movie. Watching it again in the context of his films, it's fucking great.
Cool.
Really, really good. So, yeah, I can recommend that too.
Excellent. There we go. There you go. And what do you fucking
there you go.
want? You vultures.
What do you want? Get out. Get out! The one better thing. But before you do, Paul, where can people find out more about OGT?
Well, excuse me.
Okay.
I just said it. I just told all of you in that split second I sneezed, and you now
Shit, go
have
back,
to
play it really slowly.
freeze frame, enhance, and you'll get...
It's just grotesque.
Imprinted on the clever dot to dot I've arranged for you. Kill me. as well as the just constant begging for death, is saying you can get in touch with us on OGTpod at ogtpod@gmail.com, Facebook and Twitter, OGTpod. Doing that the wrong way. I did that the wrong way around for the first time in 5 years, and that's been strange for me. Also strange for you is that you can get our exclusive Patreon access content for as little as $1 a month. Sometimes the words don't come out in the right order, but that's okay because the Patreon releases do.
The heart is there.
Yeah, all the stuff, you know it by now. The Paul's pitches, the 50 Shades parody.
Oh,
fun,
you know it so well.
The saga, the D&D roulette one shot that we did. We are but $1 or $2, I forget which now. I think it may even be $1.
Oh my God.
From our, let's say $2 in case somebody donates $1 and it's still $1 away. We are $2 away, definitely, from our next milestone, which we will be rewarding with a one-shot fiasco, which I can't wait for.
That's going to be fun. It's a very fun game.
Yeah. Other than that, if you do like the show, please recommend us to a friend. You've got to have one weird friend at least out there. Hey,
one of them who just psycho who's going to actually get something out of this.
Who doesn't wash as much as you probably think they should, and doesn't even really see the point in general hygiene or cleanliness anyway. And they are the kind of person who's going to be all about what we're bringing.
That's right. Do you know Jake Gyllenhaal? Put him in touch.
Stinky Jake Gyllenhaal.
I'm Stinky Paul Salt.
I'm Stinky Jake Gyllenhaal's new agent.
Nude agent. And remember, the one good thing about the Iron Mask and everything else that was cool is Jason Flemyng just going about his day, trying to live as an English man. Just like us all.
All us Englishmen, anyway.